Obviously, June of 2013 is one of the biggest months in the history of hip hop. Ton of big releases, ton of great releases. It's gonna be a little tough to make this list because some of these albums are only a couple of weeks old. But I'm gonna do my best. Let's go. My three favorite things in the entire entertainment industry right now are this: Action Bronson rapping, Action Bronson performing live, and Action Bronson being interviewed. If you don't know about Action Bronson, go get up on that and download everything he's done for the last 2 or 3 years. He's incredibly talented, incredibly funny. He's a great personality. In June of 2013, he dropped Sob Stories with Harry Fraud. Harry Fraud's the up-and-coming producer, and they just mesh like peanut butter and jelly. It's only 7 songs deep, so I put it in the number 5 spot. But the songs all have choruses, and they're probably the most accessible and radio-friendly songs he's ever done, and I mean that in the best way possible. So definitely check out Action Bronson, Harry Fraud, Sob Stories. Coming in number 4 spot is N.O.R.E, the Rugged Man's Legends Never Die. If you follow his career at all, he's been around about 20 years. He's killed every track he's ever been on. There's only a second full-length album release since 2004. It's kind of like a bootlegs and B-sides kind of thing in between there, but this is a full album. Definitely his best work ever. Definitely shows you how a vet can just come out, hook up with the right producers, get the right guest stars. And then what he does in this album, which is really incredible, is if you're a fan of N.O.R.E, the Rugged Man, for his whole career like I am, every once in a while he would kind of break in these crazy double-time flows that were just amazing. But he kind of, I wish he did that more. And then every once in a while he would kind of do a real personal line or a verse about his family or his dad. And there's a lot of that on this album. So this album is basically, if you kind of like his crazy flows are kind of experimental, and you like when he got really personal and talked about himself and his personal life, but thought he didn't do it enough, this album's definitely viewed because there's a ton of that on there, ton of good guest stars, and just crazy beats. So this arguably already Rugged Man's best work ever is Legends Never Die. In the number 3 spot, it's only dropped a couple weeks ago, I got Run the Jewels by Killer Mike and LP. If you watch this site all the time, you know they tied for my number 1 album of 2012 with Killer Mike's rap music and LP's Cancer for Cure. And to put this in, if this is a movie, this would be like the Avengers and the Dark Knight coming together. These are my 2 favorite things from 2012, doing a collabo in 2013. And again, it fires on all cylinders. There's only 10 songs deep. Not a lot of guest stars, Big Boy's on there, which I think is interesting because the music kind of reminds you of Outkast a little bit in that it's completely futuristic and otherworldly and next level, but at the same time it's kind of relatable to 2013, which I think is interesting. We haven't seen that done, that at this level since Outkast was really killing in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then of course want to shout out Prince Paul, reprising the role of Chest Rockwell from the Hands and Boy Modeling School. Definitely one of the best hip hop alter egos of all time. So it's 10 songs deep. It's free, and it's obviously worth your time. Run the Jewels. My second favorite album to come out so far in 2013 is Kanye West, Yeezus, and I bought the physical copy of this. I don't know why, because basically I got nothing, not even an album booklet. But it's 10 songs deep, just like some of the stuff we talked about. They went shorter, and he went way stronger on this. Now, if you're a longtime Kanye fan, I put it in perspective like this. I think his first 2 albums are really for headphones. They were made for headphone music. He was still part of the raucous lyricist lounge backpack era of hip hop. I think his next couple releases, Graduation, Watch the Throne, that period of his career was more geared towards stadiums. Big music meant to kill big crowds, 20, 30,000 people deep. This one, I think he's branching out again and going he's going for the clubs. And what I mean by that is, songs they have sounds you haven't heard before. And I think if you're only listening to it, on your computer and your headphones in your car, I don't think you're getting the full scope of what he's trying to do. So again, he went from the headphones to the stadiums, veered off a little bit 808s and Heartbreak, and made an album for you to basically listen to when you're crying yourself to sleep. And then he came back in 2013 with Yeezus, where I think he's going to be the soundtrack to clubs for the next 6 to 8 months. My favorite album so far in 2013 is A$AP Rocky's Long.Live.A. It came out January 15th. It's obviously the year's half over, and we're all still listening to it. It's got 3 just monster singles on it. You got Problems, which is killing the radio. You got Wild for the Night with Skrillex, which is killing the club. And you got One Train, kind of like a mixtape street record that's just killing the streets. And the mixtape's exactly like it should do. I like One Train so much that I'm to the point now, what's the next thing in hip-hop? I tell them, go listen to that record, and that's the next 5 years of hip-hop, because all those guys are obviously going to be huge. So, it's not as coherent as, say, Kendrick Lamar's album was last year. It's more of a collection of songs. And, it's a little bit, not scattered, but not as focused and cohesive as so many other albums. But as far as being a collection of dope hip-hop songs, I'm not sure if it gets much better in the first half of 2013 than Long.Live.A. All right, so that's going to do it for FifthRoundMovement.com's first half of 2013 album recap. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Mr. Fifth Round. I'm going to leave you with my top 20 songs on my playlist of the first half of 2013. And until next time, it's FifthRoundMovement.com.